Welcome to Fuquay-Varina and this glorious March day. I'm so glad many of you could join us today. The room is filled and this is a great look. I often say the sun is shining brightly on the town of Fuquay-Varina. And let me tell you, the sun sure seems to be shining a bit brighter than usual today as we celebrate this beginning of this beautiful new fire station. Let me take a moment to introduce our Fuquay-Varina Town Board. We have Mayor Pro Tem Marilyn Gardner, Commissioner Bill Harris, Commissioner Brian Haynes, Commissioner Charlie Adcock, and Commissioner Jason Wunsch. Thank y'all for being here. We have many honored guests who have joined us for this special occasion. Wade County Commissioner Matt Calabria, who you'll be hearing from shortly. Matt, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for helping to build Fire Station number 4 here at Fuquay-Varina. Former Fuquay-Varina Mayor John Byrne. John played a vital role in bringing Fire Station number 4 to Fuquay-Varina, and I'm grateful for his help and hard work too. There are a few folks here today from Duke Energy, and Duke Energy has been a great corporate partner with the town. Marty Clayton, who has since retired from Duke Energy, couldn't be with us today, but he was instrumental in negotiating the land deal for Station 4. I want to thank him for his contributions on this project. I spoke with him recently. We both agree this is a win-win for sure for our community. It is with great excitement that we gather to inaugurate Station 4. This is a vital addition to our town's infrastructure and a significant milestone in our journey toward ensuring our community's continued safety and security here in Fuquay-Varina. In the last community survey, 91% of residents said they felt safe in our community. 92% of respondents believe our fire department provides good or excellent service. And in my book, that's an A+. In recent years, the Fuquay-Varina Town Board has made significant investments in public safety. This includes the construction of Station 4, a new police station, the acquisition of 4 new fire engines scheduled for delivery by year-end, the recruitment of additional personnel, and the procurement of new equipment for both the fire and police departments. Furthermore, competitive pay rates have been implemented to attract and retain top talent. In Fuquay-Varina, we support our first responders and we appreciate you very much. Likely, the combination of exceptional service and robust investment in public safety has contributed to our town consistently receiving top accolades in this area. I am particularly proud that the town of Fuquay-Varina has been recognized as the #1 safest town in North Carolina, and we rank among the top 10 safest suburbs in all of America. And that right there deserves a round of applause. These accolades are made possible through our exceptional fire and police staff who demonstrate unwavering commitment and courage in their daily duties. And we are deeply grateful for their service to our community. I'm particularly proud that our town board, fire department, and Wake County have worked diligently to bring a state-of-the-art facility to Fuquay-Varina that will serve the needs of our citizens, not just today, but for many years to come. Partnerships and planning are essential to communities. And as you tour this building today, I don't just believe, but I know you'll agree with me that no detail has been overlooked. Fuquay-Varina Fire Station is a joint venture with Wake County, and both fire and Wake County EMS services will be delivered from this facility. It is my privilege to present Wake County Commissioner Matt Calabria. Matt has served 10 years as a commissioner and is currently chair of the Public Safety Committee. Commissioner Calabria calls Fuquay-Varina home and is a strong advocate for our community. Commissioner, you've always supported our public safety, and we'd be honored if you could offer some reflections on the significance of today for both yourself and Wade County. Matt?
Well, good afternoon. Again, I'm Matt Calabria, and I'm honored to be the Wade County Commissioner from Southern Wade County. It does seem like just last week that we were here breaking ground on this facility, and so anybody who says government can't do anything on time wasn't paying attention to this project. But I am very grateful to be here, and what a facility it is. I was telling the chief he's got to promise me not to tell anybody else in any of the other departments about this about this facility here in Wade County. It is not just the newest, but one of the finest facilities that we have here in the county. And before I get any further, I want to make sure I recognize our Fire Services Director, Daryl Offord, and our Chief Medical Officer, who, among other things, oversees our EMS service, Jose Cabanas, who are both here to celebrate the opening of this facility as well. The reality is, even though I was joking about how quickly we got it up and running, this is the product of years and years of hard work. We all know that Wade County is growing quickly. We have 1.2 million people in the county, and we're growing by 56 people a day. And that's a net number. That's in minus out, births minus deaths. We're still growing at 56 people a day, and we have been for years and years now. Now, that presents challenges for folks like me because I've got to figure out how to build all the classrooms for all the children being born in our hospitals. But it's also the byproduct of being the kind of place that people want to live and work and play and raise a family. And of course, Fuquay-Varina has been ground zero for so much of that growth, having mayor doubled in population since 2010, which is a tremendous increase, of course. And so it counsels forward thinking on our part. And it also means that if we're going to have great emergency services, we've got to adapt to the changing circumstances, and we've got to expand our services to meet the needs of all of our citizens. One of the things that we have done over the past several years is to engage in a process intended to look at funding and look at support across the county, look at personnel, and come up with a fairer, more rational, more sustainable formula for how we allocate our resources across the county, specifically with respect to fire services, but also EMS too. And so the result was a 2020 decision to create a new model that focuses on any number of variables: the population, the number and kind of buildings, the total acreage served by a given fire department. And lo and behold, with all the growth in Southern Wake, this is our very first municipal station to open under that new model. And of course, that's no surprise. And I really do want to thank Wake County staff, but also, as the mayor alluded to, town staff and all the private sector partners who've come together to make this project a reality. I also want to highlight EMS service here as well, because it's not just as if it wasn't as exciting as we needed it to be to have the fire service here. We also have EMS co-located, which we are seeing more and more is really a best practice when it comes to emergency services. In fact, we've seen it improve response times, make communication smoother, and of the 36 Wake County EMS stations throughout the entire county, most of them now are co-located with fire services. And so we think it's the way of the future. We think it's the best, most efficient, effective, and cost-effective way to provide services. And so this is emblematic of that as well. But maybe the most important thing that I can say is really directed toward all the first responders in the room, which is that we have your back. And judging from the fact that we have more people in attendance for the opening of this facility than I've ever seen in the opening of a fire station or EMS station, I think it's pretty safe to say that Southern Wake, that Fuquay-Varina, the residents of Fuquay-Varina have your back as well. Now, it's easy for some politician to stand up here and say we've got your back, but I want to highlight a few things that show you how you know that to be true. You know that because we are in an absolute state-of-the-art facility, And you know that because Wade County has invested in some of the best protective equipment that money can buy, bar none. We even looked at things like the concentrations of PFAS and other things in the protective equipment itself to make sure that we had the best possible equipment going forward. You know, because we recently committed on the county level probably about $500,000 toward ballistic vests and helmets, because we know that all first responders, when they're responding to active shooter scenarios, put themselves in the line of fire, and we have national and unfortunately even local examples to demonstrate to us why that's true. But we thought it was important to make sure that our first responders were protected in those scenarios as well. You know that because of, as the mayor alluded to, substantial increases in compensation, not just at the town level, but at the county level as well. And that's true for both EMS staff and fighters and sheriff staff and others. And that enables us to recruit and retain the best possible folks. You know that because we just made made our fire academy a paying obligation, because if we're going to ask folks to leave their families or leave their jobs for months on end, we want to make sure that they can make ends meet. You know that because we've engaged in unprecedented recruiting efforts to make sure that we can recruit and retain folks, we can have a diverse workforce, and that we're pulling and making these opportunities available to folks all across Wake County. You know, I go to Association of County Commissioners meetings across the state and across the country, and folks are seeing a huge problem when it comes to recruiting and retaining first responders. And so it's been interesting hearing county commissioners in other places talk about how they're trying to share firefighters with other departments and all the things that they're doing. They've got roving trucks that go to wherever there might be seem to be a shortage that week. Well, as a result of our recruiting efforts, as a result of our compensation efforts and making the fire academy and EMS education more available and more accessible as well. In one of our most recent fire academies, we saw more than 1,000 applications for 30 fire academy spots. It is incredible to see that difference. And now we're making sure that we look at female firefighters and firefighters of all walks of life. Nationally, only 4% of firefighters are women. In Wake County, as of a couple of years ago, it was 3%. And so we're trying to recruit 100% of our workforce from 30% of our population, and it just simply wasn't working. And so by looking at other avenues and at more diverse populations, we have had some of the very best and most talented and most sought after classes in our academies to date. You know that because of, you know that we have first responders backs because of the myriad health initiatives that we've put into play. When I started 10 years ago, firefighters weren't getting annual physicals. And now not only do we have annual physicals, but we have the best turnout gear, as I alluded to earlier. We have peer counseling because we know that behavioral health and mental health in such a stressful job where folks are dealing with such difficult things is of critical importance. And you know, by the standalone decontamination building that's here on site, so that firefighters can work to prevent any carcinogens from getting in the main building where everyone dwells when they're not out on calls. We believe that we have to protect those who protect us. We owe all of our first responders a tremendous debt of gratitude for all the work that you do day in and day out. And I hope that this building is a small emblem of that gratitude and is a reflection of what we all feel in this community toward our first responders. It is the smart thing to do, and it is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do because of that debt of gratitude, and it's the smart thing to do because we know that we have tremendous emergency services here in Wake County, and that not only keeps you safer, not only keeps you healthier, but it even lowers your tax rates, because Insurance Service Office ratings, which determine your property insurance bills, take into account the quality of the emergency services, in particular the fire services in your local area. So we don't ever want to have a situation where a first responder responds to a call and ever has to think twice about whether the county or the town did everything they could to make sure that folks were safe. So in closing, I just want to thank all of you again, not just our first responders, but everyone who made this amazing, beautiful facility a reality. That's not just our county staff, but the town staff, the town elected leadership, and also our private sector partners. So Mayor, thank you so much for having us today and for the town's partnership. Thank you for letting me spend a few minutes with you. Thanks.
No offense to the other fire departments that are here, but Fuquay-Varina Fire Department is definitely my favorite fire department. Commissioner Calabria, you can admit that later on outside of public, but thank you for your comments. The town has had a great partner in building Fire Station Number 4, Bobbitt Construction. They have built over 30 fire and rescue facilities. And I'd like to invite Neil Connolly from Bobbitt to say a few words. Neil?
Good afternoon. I'm Neil Connolly with Bobbitt Construction. It's great to be here today. We are immensely proud of this facility, as we should be. On behalf of the design team, I want to say thank you to the town of Fuquay-Varina for selecting us and entrusting us, and also to Chief Jones and his staff. You guys have been a real pleasure to work with, and I mean that. I'd just like to recognize a few folks who have been instrumental in the success of the project from the design and construction side. First, from Davis Kane Architects, Jimmy Edwards took the chief's vision and ran with it. The separate decontamination building that was referenced earlier is a great solution to a big challenge. And that's just one of the features of the building which makes it unique and state-of-the-art, a term you'll hear many times, because it truly is. Alexandre, I think you're here. During the construction phase, you looked over us to make sure we weren't deviating from the design intent. Not that we would have, but appreciate your dedication. And then from COH Design, who handled the site work, which presented several challenges. We have a few folks here from COH. I think Zach Pierce is here. Zach, if you'd raise your hand. There he is. Thank you to all the guys here and behind the scenes. From Bobbitt, I'd like to recognize my partner there, Charles Hall. Charles lived with this project on days that weren't as sunny and warm as today, rainy days. Seemed like Thursday it rained a lot. But Charles stuck with the project and really led the charge in getting us to where we're at. Thank you, Charles. Finally, I'd just like to recognize a few of the key subcontractor trade partners. I'm not sure if they're here or not today, but they were instrumental in the success as well. Alan R. Wood, the electrical, making sure everything works. Air makers, making sure the HVAC is working and everyone's kept comfortable. Gerloff did the metal trusses, the framing, the drywall, and all that. If you see any more dings in the drywall, let me know and I'll let them know. Kenna painting, the ceramic tile was done by Concordia. I think they did a wonderful job. You'll see it in the restroom. Bonnets handled the flooring. These folding doors, these big glorious folding doors that every chief seems to want, allow for a quick response time to emergencies. And they were done by dependable doors, as were the back doors. Baznite on the interior doors. And last but not least, Galavan stuck with it on the site and got it done. Thank you again. We really could not be any more proud of this facility. We appreciate it.
Chief Jim Jones leads the Fuquay-Varina Fire Department. This man leads this department with integrity and a heart of gold. I appreciate everything Chief Jones has done to bring Station 4 to life. I know that Chief Jones has gone to several fire station ribbon cutting ceremonies over the past few months, and I'm sure he's about to tell you that this is the best one, just like the Fuquay-Varina Fire Department. I can confidently say that Fuquay-Varina Fire Station 4 is the best looking one. Chief Jones, I invite you to the podium to share a few remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Massengill. And yes, I have been to a few ribbon cuttings recently, and although wonderful facilities, this one is a dash more. So thank you also to everyone here today joining us for this very special moment in our department's history. Several organizations and people have already been thanked today for getting us here, but I also feel that I need to say a personal thank you to many of that same group. My granddaddy always told me, if you don't say it, then you don't mean it. So please bear with me. First, our current and past town board of commissioners for their support of this project, concept to funding through construction and their continuous excitement from beginning to end. Hear the symphony. The Wade County Board of Commissioners for their vision, commitment, investment in improving emergency services throughout Wade County. Thank you. Wade County EMS for their partnership in this project and their willingness to support some out-of-the-box design ideas for this facility that we'll talk a little bit more about here in just a minute. Wade County Fire Services and Director Daryl Alford. From the beginning and even before the project started, Daryl supported this station and paved the way for other municipal and county collaborations on additional fire stations in Wade County. Daryl, thank you for your guidance, your leadership, and most of all, your friendship. Our building committee, and as I call, please stand up, please, composed of Division Chief Buddy Waters, Battalion Chief Jerry Crocker, Captain Will Gregory, and Captain Mike Altier. I want to give those guys a hand. Thank you for the countless hours spent designing, picking out interior finishes, trying to determine if this color looks good with that color, meeting on short notice when decisions needed to be made. And as a bonus, we discovered two of them are pretty good at hanging pictures too. Bobbitt Construction and Davis Kane Architects for an amazing design, a magnificent facility, and their patience throughout this project. And our town staff. We would not be here today without the support of the staff and directors from our other town departments. No matter what popped up throughout construction, help was only a phone call away. We could not have done it without all of you. And a special thank you to Communications Director Susan Weiss for her well thought out and detailed placement instructions of the photo displays that you'll see throughout the station. Thank you, Susan. Last but certainly not least, a special thank you to my wife, Sherry. Her support of and patience with me throughout this project has been a blessing and continued proof that I don't deserve her. She was there to listen, more than willing to give her opinion, and has spent so much time over here the last 3 weeks on nights and weekends as I have getting ready for today. So thank you. From the beginning, we had 5 goals for this station. 1, build a facility that improved response times to this area. 2, reduce the call volumes on stations 1 and 2. 3, include state-of-the-art protection for our staff. 4, preserve and maintain our department history. And 5, build something that would produce a wow response for anybody that drove by. Time will tell about the first 4, but we know we nailed it on the 5th. So thank you. After spending a few minutes walking through this station, we have no doubt you will see the forethought that went into the design. This includes the well-equipped fitness room, an open concept kitchen day room that both dump out into a large covered patio. A feature, by the way, already causing jealousy from those not assigned here. A bunk room that provides privacy without totally separating everyone. A separate turnout gear storage room, diesel fume exhaust systems in the apparatus bays, and a distinct wing of the building that will be the new home of our fire prevention division. However, we feel two things really make this station unique. First, as mentioned earlier, our detached decontamination building. This new concept will enable us to provide a healthy environment for everyone that lives, works, and visits this station. In this detached building, all fire and EMS personnel, apparatus, equipment, and gear will be cleaned after returning from emergency calls, thus preventing cancer-causing products from entering the main building. The Firefighter Cancer Support Network reports that firefighters have a 9% higher diagnosis rate and a 14% higher death rate from cancer than the general U.S. population. Cancer has become the most dangerous threat to firefighters' safety and health today. That is why we are committed to doing everything we can to limit the long-term exposure of our personnel to cancer-causing agents. This new decontamination building will go a long way in doing just that. And we hope this concept becomes a model of firefighter safety throughout the county, state, and nation. The second thing we feel makes this station unique is our dedicated history room. Our department is extremely proud of our history and our fully restored 45 Mac that is back here today in the bay. This is the first new fire truck purchased by the town. This dedicated room will spotlight that truck, highlight our rich history, and preserve that history for future generations. Words cannot express how excited we are to share this new facility with everyone in the community. We are blessed to work for a town that values the safety of our firefighters and is committed to public safety facility needs that align with town growth. We have a lot of excited staff that cannot wait to show off this facility to you today. So please, if you have time, walk through the buildings after our ceremony and enjoy our labor of love. Thank you. Now for our history room dedication, I would like to call up our building committee to assist me. From the very beginning of the design process for Fire Station 4 in 2020, Fire Chief Tony Malden made it clear to the design team and anyone else that would listen that he wanted this new station to be built around the restored Mack fire truck and the great history of our department. Chief Malden was born and raised in Fuquay-Varina and grew up in the fire department, watching his father and others build this department with their own sweat and tears. He knew that without preserving that history, in time, it could be lost forever. Although he was known as Chief Malden, to me, he was Tony. We had a friendship that went beyond boss and employee, and I still miss him today. That relationship allowed me to see the public and private side of him. He truly loved and took pride in serving this community as a firefighter and later as a fire chief. His love of this town and this department was genuine and always evident in everything he did and with every interaction he had with the people in town. Tony gave over 32 years of service protecting this community, with 20 of those years as the fire chief. His impact on many of us will never be forgotten, and our hope is his impact on the past, present, and future of this department will never be overlooked. To honor his loyal service and for his commitment to ensuring the history of this great department is never forgotten, we dedicate the history room at this new station to Anthony Tony Malden and name it the Tony Malden History Room. To commemorate this dedication, this plaque will hang in the History Room, and it reads, the Fuquay-Varina Fire Department History Room is dedicated to past Fire Chief Anthony Tony Malden. Chief Malden dedicated 32 years of exemplary service to the citizens of Fuquay-Varina and the Varina Fire District, serving as Fire Chief from 2002 to 2022. Chief Malden believed preserving and showcasing the great history of the fire department was not only his duty, but also his contribution to future generations of Fuquay-Varina firefighters. In his memory, this history room will be used to honor the past while building the future. We know he is smiling today and so very proud of this new fire station. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Tony was a humble man, the heart for public service. His contributions to our town and fire department will never be forgotten. When I think of Tony Malden, the words that come to my mind are honorable, hardworking, selfless, compassionate, community-minded, and a man who loved his family wholeheartedly. I was proud to have been able to call Chief Malden Tony, my friend. Dedicating the history room to his name is a fitting tribute to honor him. I believe future generations will benefit from learning about him and his impact on our town. Tony was very impactful for Fuquay-Varina. Today, we are honored to have Tony's family here with us today. Thank you for joining us. I would like to thank all of our speakers for their valuable contributions and thoughtful insights today. I think it's time we put Fire Station number 4 into service with a traditional uncoupling ceremony.